Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to Work Trends with Megan M. Biro. Whether you're here to network, learn, or share, we want you to have fun. During this live broadcast and Twitter chat, we'll discuss the future of work with smart and entertaining guests who value today's business and its impact on the world of work for the future. Stay tuned, because we start in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. What up? Welcome to another informative Talent Culture Work Trends live podcast and Twitter chat. I want to thank my sponsors out there who make all of this possible, and my friends and the community members who hang out with us, whether you're on Twitter or LinkedIn group, or heck, we're on all the platforms now, aren't we? And have I mentioned how much I like Instagram? If you're not following me yet, let's do it. At Megan M. Bureau, you know where to find me. Hope everyone's doing well today. Listen, today's topic is an absolute favorite of mine because personally, I love it, but I also am sort of overwhelmed by it. And anyone who knows me knows this, right? Have you heard the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words? Well, I'm sure you have. We all have, right? Today, we're actually discussing the value of using video and the multitude of advantages, and quite frankly, there's some disadvantages as well. That's part of my thing, and we'll discuss that a little bit more in a moment. It brings so many aspects of our business world and our lives together right now. So I'm really excited. I hope everyone's doing well, and if you're with us right now, go ahead and use that hashtag WorkTrends if you want to be part of the conversation. I'm really excited about today's guest. We were actually having some fun in the green room talking about the fact that we actually live in practically the same neighborhood, by the way. Have never met, have known of each other for quite a while, right? Social media, never a dull moment, right, everybody? So listen, I want to introduce today's guest, Chris Savage. He is the CEO and co-founder of Wistia. They're a video marketing and analytics platform. They help businesses host, customize, and measure video content. Go figure. After graduating from Brown University here, Brown University, Providence, Rhode Island, shout out, with a degree in art. Wait, hold on. Chris's degree is in art-semiotics.
That's right.
We're gonna have to get into that, Chris. Okay, you're gonna have to help me out on that one. Chris and his co-founder Brendan Schwartz started Wistia in guess where? Brendan's living room in 2006. Wistia has grown into a multi-million-dollar business with over 70 employees and 300,000 customers. We hope they're happy around the globe. After 10 years living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is where I live too. He's digging it. He and I are digging it, but we're gonna share some insight with you all on what we just discussed. He is a passionate public advocate of the Boston startup scene, like I am. He gets overly excited when talking about entrepreneurship, marketing, video, company building, and behavioral economics. Welcome, Chris. What up?
Thank you so much for having me. Super pumped to be here. And as you know, as you were just saying, nice to finally chat with you, even though we've never met in person and we live like less than a mile from each other.
So ridiculous. I'm like, this madness has to stop. So we are actually, though, we're going to hang. You and I are going to we're going to have some quality time in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, and we'll get to see each other in person. Can you imagine? We're going to take this to another level. Woo! All right. Well, listen, what say you? Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your company, and like what motivated you to become this video rock star?
Yeah, I mean, so starting obviously with art semiotics, what I majored in at Brown, which basically is a fancy way that Brown tries to change things and make you feel special, but actually just really means like filmmaking and video production. I did that, and I got really lucky and worked on a feature-length documentary about the former mayor of Providence, Buddy Cianci. And he ended up going to jail. And we followed him for we followed him for 6 months before he went to jail, when he was certain that he wasn't going. So he gave us like behind-the-scenes access to everything.
That's
and basically
super
I got
interesting.
super
Talk
lucky.
about
Yeah.
timing, right?
Amazing timing for us, not for him.
Exactly.
But we got that documentary out. We got that documentary out there, and it did well. That it like helped me kind of like see what a small team could do, and also really get in touch with how video was being distributed at that time in 2005 and 2006, and this massive change that was happening in online video. And so that's what caused us to start the business in the first place.
And that's kind of early adoption, really. When you look at that year, it's like, you know, not that video has been around, as we know, for a very long time, but, you know, when you talk about it now, you talk about it in more of a 3 or 4 or 5 dimensional way, right? So having said that, you know, what ways would you say video excels at telling a story better than words, say, on a page or a screen?
And it's a great question. I think video is just the most emotional medium. And, you know, usually videos that have people in them where you feel like you can connect with the person and you can judge, because we're all super good at judging if someone's being transparent or honest or clear, or if a product demo is legit. Like, you get to judge that for yourself, and it's a lot harder to fake, right? Like, I can write any copy I want on my site about how great I am and how great my product is. So if you actually see someone talking about how great they are, or see someone talking about, like, see someone using a product, you get to judge for yourself. And I think that in general, that is true, that video is such an emotional medium, and that's why we all connect to it, and that's why we gravitate towards it. I think it's why it's also works so well for businesses once they start to use video well.
But as somebody who grew up on stage, I was a dancer very early on in my life and did acting and did all sorts of that whole thing. Frankly, there's a lot of people who are good at acting, right?
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're not getting BF'd on video. So I have to play devil's advocate with you just a little bit, hanging out with a lot of actors and actresses growing up and with a lot of friends who are sort of on stage still, right? Maybe it just makes you better. I'm not sure it always makes you more authentic. Maybe that's something we should unpack a little bit today, perhaps.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, I don't think that every video makes you automatically more authentic. I think there's an opportunity to be more authentic if you want to go after that. A big trend I'm sure you've seen is that there's just so much content that people are making that it's very clear that they're not actors. And like, it's very clear they're being themselves. And
you're really,
I think
you're
it's like,
actually being funny, Chris. You're being funny right now, aren't you? There's so many people, frankly, who shouldn't be. Wait, hold on. They shouldn't be on video because the quality sucks of what they're doing, and that's been my big beef. But that's the perfectionism in me that holds me back from going, oh, it's not perfect, I'm not doing it. That's also a problem.
I think it's
right.
It is a problem because if you look at what's working on social right now, you look at Facebook Live, and you look at Instagram stories and Snapchat stories. You know, I think what people are getting comfortable with is basically making a ton of video that previously never should have existed. That sounds horrible, right? Like, of like me making videos of me like, you know, eating sandwiches and whatever I do. But there is an element of that is super compelling because it's so authentic. But also in that case, it's like disappears, right? So it is interesting.
I think it's cool. I actually think video is cool. I want the world to know that. I think it's so important for brands, both personal brands and corporate brands right now. It's so exciting. It just, honestly, there's so much to do still, right? So we've been hearing a lot about 360-degree video. Tell us what this means to you and what's compelling about it, and what are the plus and minuses?
Yeah, so let's start with 360 video. Obviously, if you don't know what it is you shoot video with a spherical camera or a number of cameras, and then when you're watching the video back, you can pick the direction you want to look. So imagine normal video is a window on a house. You can look through the window and kind of see what's happening in a video from one vantage point. 360 video is like you're inside the house looking around. And so I think pluses of it is, it's again, back to I like to talk about the authenticity a lot, but I think it lets the viewer have control over what they care to see. And it feels much more like you're in a space. And it works really well with like VR headsets and AR headsets. And so if you shoot 360 video and someone puts a VR headset on, they will feel like they are in a place where they're not. And I think it's like kind of the first step of that, which is really exciting. It's also a very long way off.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Can we do that when we get together?
Can
I do that with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My audience is laughing right now because something's rumbling here for 2017, everybody. Just saying, right? Let's experiment.
Yeah.
I think that would be so cool. So, like, we have pluses and minuses, right? Obviously. Everything does.
Yep. In 360's case, I think the plus is it's a new medium. Early adopters are after it. If you can figure out how to use it well, you can connect with them. It's wildly engaging, and you get to see a lot of people's first experience with something. I've seen a lot of people put on a headset and then like travel to Iceland and like flying in a helicopter and lose their mind. Then the minuses, there are a lot of minuses though too, which is like there's no true standard yet. We're ways off from people shooting it all the time. I don't think we're like 10 years off. I think we're 3 to 5 years off. I think 360 video is you really need two fisheye lenses, and I think it's gonna end up big.
That far off?
I think it's gonna.
Really?
From when you and I are making 360 videos really consistently, like I have a 360 video camera that costs $200 that does the trick, but I also run a video company and need to know about this, and we support it, and so I'm playing with it. But I think in 3 to 5 years we could see this inside every single person's smartphone, and you can already view them all in your smartphone. Like today, you can watch 360 video on YouTube, Facebook, Wistia. It's going to work. And there's a lot of great uses for it. But when you start really creating, when everyone is creating it, I think in the same way that our phones allowed us to everyone to make videos, opposed to having to have a DSLR or have like a more formal thing. That's when the true sea change like occurred.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So, what are 3 things people should definitely do when using video? Tell us.
I think if you're thinking about how to use video for your business, look for the things that you're ending up spending a lot of time explaining in person, whether it's your sales team or yourself or it's your support team. What's the really complex stuff that right now someone always has to talk to you about it? And I always tell people to start with something like that. Start with a problem where if you can figure out how to explain this in a linear fashion and put it in a video, it's going to just automate yourself. And that's often the first thing that I tell people to look for if they're not using video yet. I think use video to think about it as a way to build a connection with your audience where they want to be told a story. And unlike text where they can skim through, you can't skim through a video. And so they're going to watch that story in linear fashion, and you can build simple, complex, simple things together to create something that might have been pretty complex for someone to understand otherwise. And I would also say, I really encourage people to get on camera. Back to the acting thing. Yeah, I think there are some good actors out there, but most people are really terrible actors. And that's good.
Yeah.
So try to figure out how to get them on camera and have them communicating in a way where they're clearly not acting. And we've seen so many examples of this where the right video that is set out to achieve a goal for your company can have an enormous effect. Examples of this are we're seeing people start to use video in sales where they make one video for one person. And it's just it's getting so easy to do. And if I make a video for you, Megan, and I'm trying to help, convince you why you should trust me and why my product's going to solve all your problems or whatever, if it feels that genuine and authentic, those actually get responses. And that can really move the needle for your business.
I've actually received those over the last 2 years in various forms. And at first I was like, oh, this person's just trying to get my attention. And I have to tell you, I broke down those barriers over time, and I really do respond to it. When people try, you get DMs on Twitter or in your inbox, or, now it's every other avenue possible, right? But there is something personal about that happens. And frankly, by the way, you don't have to be perfect on video. I was saying that earlier, but the other side of it is people want to see real people. You know, they don't want to see, you know, a journalistic view on the world, frankly, right? We see that we've seen that over the years too much, right? So it's a balance. So I love this refreshing look at it of just be yourself. Be yourself, because it's really more about connecting. That's what it's like, really for, right? Not being perfect, but connecting.
That's right. I think it's the relationship piece is how I always think about it, is, you know, the history of all time. Like we're wired to connect with other human beings and to let relationships guide our decisions. And so if you always go to the same place to get coffee because you like the way you feel there and you like the people and they know you, and there might be coffee right next door that's the same price, everything else, you pick the place that you have a stronger relationship to, and that's usually the person. And I think in a lot of big brands, you know, if you think about like Apple is basically Steve Jobs, right? And now they've struggled as they're trying to turn it into Apple is Tim Cook. And, you know, you try to guess at what Apple, the company, will do based off of like words and interviews that Tim Cook, how he answers questions. I think that a modern perfect example of this is Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX, where there's constant stories written about him. And if there's a story written about SpaceX and you read it, you might have a feeling of like, oh, he really is willing to take these huge risks and go super big without a lot of data. Someone's going to assume that he's going to do the exact same thing at Tesla. And where you have this rare opportunity of seeing one person, two companies, where the personification of him is actually what a lot of people are excited about, what they're buying.
Interesting. So what should people not do when using video?
Oh man, there's so many things. I think video.
Where to begin? Actually, now that I'm trick question.
Yeah, trick question. That's what we're going to spend 30 minutes on now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that
when you and I get together, we need all day.
Yeah. I think that it's, you know, people think of video as a silver bullet, and I see a lot of people who. This is probably you could find 20 examples about this same concept where someone's like, oh, we're making a product, we should make a video. Yeah. Or we're changing our brand for our company.
Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you.
And,
see, that's been my experience, by the way. See, part of the part of me that resists doing video myself, you know, it's a long story, obviously. But part of that is I've watched so many people just doing it basically for the sake of doing it. And it becomes so clear that all they really want to do is get attention, but we don't know why they want to get attention. Like, is there a bigger story beyond this? Or do you just love hearing yourself and seeing yourself? That's what worries me, you know? Like, when does it become meaningless? At what point?
I think I think you're right. And it's I think about it as when the goal itself is the video, you're usually not in a good spot. So in all those cases, when someone just wants to make a video because they think they should, usually they make the video and they say, where should I put it? I'm like, oh, well, I've made a video. There's a bunch of video places. You have YouTube, you have Facebook now, you have Twitter. I'll probably put it in all those places. And you put it there, and then it gets if you're lucky, a few thousand views, and then you're like, what happened? Was this good? And usually it doesn't do anything for you because it's not designed for where it's going, which is very different than saying.
Wait, but hold on. But it might have fed your ego.
Well, it might have fed your ego, yes, because then you can take the view count and be like, 6,000 people saw this, so I'm popular now. And I think it's very
prolific.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, though, because if you flip it around, you say, okay, I want to make a video because people who make it to this page of my website, they don't fill out the form. And why aren't they filling out the form? And you go talk to them and you realize they don't trust you, or they're confused about when you're going to charge them, or they need another like emotional boost. And so you make a video that actually might be super fun, have nothing to do with your product, and it's just to make someone feel good at the moment they're about to convert. And you do that, and then that video actually helps you achieve that goal of getting more people to sign up. And the difference, if you start to look in the world of video in this way, you actually see that most of it is stuff that doesn't really have a goal, or the goal is attention, and it's kind of like, oh, if I put this on YouTube, I hope people will find it and it will go viral, which of course doesn't happen, because even today what you're competing with is very, very different than what you used to compete with before. Like, obviously, a lot of the big brands that have viral videos are spending huge amounts of money to create these things. They're using agencies and firms that, start to see the view count. They get them different publishers to write stories about it. And then this thing became viral. They just spent as much money they would have spent on a TV ad. And instead, they spent it on, like, 6 different providers online. And I think it creates this unfortunate expectation for everybody that if you just make it's almost like the fear that people have of when they launch a website. Like, okay, I just, I need to get it perfect before I launch it. Once I launch it, it's going to be great. And they push publish, and then no one sees their site. And they're like, what happened? And it's like, oh, you don't realize the hard part of this is getting people to pay attention, getting them to take an action. And to do that,
that's where the art is.
You can't think about it the same way.
You can be prolific. You can be a prolific content creator. It does not mean people are reading or listening or even care, Yeah. So let me know this, because I'm kind of want to know, where would you actually discourage somebody from using video and why at this point, like today?
I would discourage people. I think it's the place that I'm going to kind of like hit the same drum again, but I think if you can't answer what the goal of the video is, you shouldn't be making it. And I think that is that people don't have a clear goal, or they make one video and it's good, and then they want to attack every channel at the same time. They want to have every page on their site have video. They want to have every social channel have video, and all those places might do better with video if there's a reason the video should exist there. But I think there's this tendency where people just like get wrapped up in this idea that it's going to be the silver bullet, and it is a good, it's a good tactic, but you need to do it thoughtfully. And so places that I've told people they shouldn't do this is they try to make videos for things that, are extremely important to the brand, and they do it kind of recklessly. And they don't get that, like, you can have an authentic, simple video that can really improve your brand, but you can have one that is, almost like the worst is like the middle zone of video content, where it's like, instead of it being super authentic, or instead of it being really polished, it's somewhere in the middle, and everyone can tell it's not polished. And that's the stuff that I think hurts the most.
Got it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, within that, I feel like I've told people a million times not to make videos, but I wouldn't say there's like one place where you always shouldn't.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect
maybe you
sense,
have an example.
though. Have it, think about having a reason behind it, and that'll guide everything that then goes forward. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I read something about how people process video, and the article stated that 1 minute of video is equivalent to 1.8 million words. How crazy is that, by the way? That's a lot of impact.
That's insane.
What's your reaction to it? What's your take?
Yeah, I think that it's probably more like 1.9 million words.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. I think it's, I think that there's some truth to it. And people have been talking about this for such a long time, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Why do they even say that? I think it's because there's something that comes across that is hard to describe. I think the same thing is true with video, and probably the real element of it that we've been talking, kind of circling around this whole conversation, is the emotional impact, right? And how do you measure that? And that's why you can have a video that is, falls flat because it's all the right content, but it's emotionally draining, and someone dislikes whatever you're trying to get them to do, and you can have the same script and the same shots, but it's paced differently, and there's different music, and it's emotionally invigorating, and it actually causes people to change behavior and take an action. I think it's the emotional piece, which is like the same thing we have so much trouble describing, making decisions about. I think that's where the value is coming, and why you would need somebody more to describe it.
And that's what makes it most interesting and impactful, too, which I love. It's not just one answer we have. It's something that comes from within. It's a feeling. That's exciting.
Yes.
That's called brand awareness. That's exciting stuff. So I'm thinking of how video can show a workplace, the people in it, the culture of an organization, right? How do you get people to represent authentically and make sure they're examples of truth well told? because I know a lot of the clients that I work with and a lot of the people that I talk to out there who are employees at brands, there's always this like dancing around the elephant in the room going on, right? Like, how honest should we be?
Yeah, I that's a really tough one. Because the simple answer is just be authentic. And then people are like, but this part of what we're doing isn't good. And it's like, well, you need to fix the thing. Like, if you like, it's like, but that's hard. And
but you're a person.
I thought
you're
that was
complicated.
Yeah. And I think it's, so in general, the way that we've tried to think about that, and we are not perfect, so we have a lot of problems and, a lot of opportunities at Wistia, right? Like, we're a growing company, but we've tried to always be true to ourselves. And I think like be super transparent in our marketing about what our culture is like.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that as like a motivator to make the culture better and because I feel like if we lose that, then it will screw up in all of our marketing too. But I think that one of the things that you can do that,
like, it matters to people now.
Oh my God!
Like, you can no longer hide behind, a page on a website. It's like, if it sucks, people know about it.
I mean,
they're going to talk about it. They're going to blog about it. They're going to create video about it too. So it's like, where do you find that happy medium? And I think this is a complex conversation, and we're certainly not going to. This is we could spend a whole nother topic, a whole nother half hour on this, obviously. But, food for thought for today. It's not, truth well told is not always what it appears at the surface. That's a very complex scenario that I think a lot of brands are still trying to get right.
I think that there's something that I have not seen enough of on this, which is like, people, if you're trying to make culture videos and show people what your company's like, everyone has challenges, and matching the right challenges to the people who you want to join your company or who you want to root for your business is actually very exciting. I think that we forget that. Yeah. But
love it.
I remember
totally important when we first end on this note. By the way, my friend, you know what? We're only we're down to about 2 minutes left. So just heads up.
Okay, we'll be fast. We'll get it all in there. It'll be perfect.
All right. All right. Cool. Cool.
So,
now what were you saying before I rudely interrupted you?
Yeah. No, I was just saying that like when we made our first culture video when we were 6 people, and we were terrified because we thought that people would see this video and think Wistia is not a legitimate company, and I won't want to work with them. And the opposite thing happened, which was like people were rooting for us more because they knew how small we were and what we were trying to do. And I think a lot about that in terms of like, how can you just be transparent about the right things so that people are actually excited and motivated and want to help you in your journey, as opposed to like saying that you have the perfect culture and then actually that's not actually that interesting, and so then no one wants to work there or people don't want to root for you.
Keep it real. When in doubt, keep it real, right?
Keep it real.
Listen, we're going to end on this note because I do think that video is amazing. What's the most creative way you've seen a company use video?
I've seen a lot of stuff. Probably the most creative use of video I've seen has been, there are more people doing this now, but really using video well in products at specific moments where the goal of the video was like, this small audience who gets here, I want them to feel so good about what they're going to do next that they are definitely going to take this next action. And it's kind of like a thing to me that it didn't even seem like something you could use video for. A company that does this really well is called Intercom. And if you look at their onboarding and their flows, they have people who walk you through different parts of their product, and super simple, and it makes perfect sense. And yet, like, it was completely not something anyone would ever think to do. You would never go to an agency and say, hey, I want to make all these videos in my onboarding and helping people who have already signed for my product. It's like, why would you do that? You just get someone on the phone. You just do a webinar. You do something else. And I actually think it was really remarkably creative. And I've now seen more and more companies do it, and it works really well, I think, because it's such an engaging, unique, nice balance of making emotional content that's for the right people at the right time. And so in terms of like creative use of videos, I thought that was like pretty creative. HubSpot did something similar, which is,
hey, listen, we're about to turn into a pumpkin. Go figure. It's that time of year, right? So I'm excited to see you in person, Chris, and hang out. I want to thank you for stopping by with the Work Trends community today, and we look forward to continuing this conversation over on Twitter.
Sounds good.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Thanks for stopping in.
All right, take care.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.